knew who you were, hadn't done a whole lot of research, but understood your boxing background and the MMA. Know you were a smaller kid growing up and kind of there was something about boxing. Talk to me about like that passion, that outlet that boxing gave you and just made you kind of all in from the get-go.
Well, boxing, it's it's a long story. I got into boxing secretly and signed a waiver, went into a boxing gym because my father would not sign it and got my ass kicked. I was doing karate for a while and thought I was pretty tough doing point fighting and I competed in point fighting, didn't lose one match in point fighting. I didn't have much. I probably had maybe 12 point fighting matches, but I moved out to Connecticut and my dad moved a lot. He opened Home Depot stores. Mm-hmm. So he was the store opener. So we moved a lot. And I was a very small kid. I was 4'11" and 92 pounds all the way through 11th grade. But wow. This is in the 9th grade. So we moved out in the summer prior to the 9th grade. Got bullied a little bit. Then I stood up for myself, got to meet a couple kids. One of the guys who bullied me in the beginning that I slapped in the back of the head and ran off. He brought me down to a boxing gym. He actually liked me for doing that. So thank God he did kick my ass because he was very well tuned. But he brought me into a boxing gym and I remember going in, sitting down and looking at everybody. And I'm like, man, the technique sucks here. And I was thinking all this stuff. And the guy looks down. He's like, hey, you ever thought about boxing? And I was like, no, I don't want to box. I do karate. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, if you want to box, get a waiver signed. So I went home, didn't get it signed. So I signed it, came back. And I remember my whole experience of putting on sweaty, nasty gloves, a sweaty headgear that was too big. It was too big for me. I could have tightened it, but it was so wet and just nasty wet. I didn't want to tighten it. And I put it on all loose. And I remember looking across the ring, and there's a Puerto Rican kid about 2 years older than me, and he had love handles, and just I was like, oh man, I get to go with this guy. But I remember watching him trade the couple days before when I was in there, and so the bell rings, and we go to start, and I land the first shot, and then it was just chaos. And I remember being pushed up against the ropes, and it felt like about 2.5 minutes. It might have been like 30 seconds. Right. Who knows? I remember the coach calling time, and I thought he was going to fix my headgear because I was looking through the ear hole. And I look at him and I put my head towards him so he could fix my headgear. And he starts taking my headgear off, and he told me, he's like, yeah, stick to karate. And I remember walking home that day, and my friend was still at the gym. I didn't even say bye to him. I just left. And I remember like crying and seeing cars come by, and I'd deafen up, and then the cars would go by and I'd cry. And I sat at home feeling sorry for myself, and I wanted to be like a ninja as a kid. Like I told my parents, send me to Japan. I want to go, be a ninja. Just funny what kids go through, And when I got into karate, I got really into it. So I remember all my dreams were broken, and I felt sorry for myself for about a month, and then I ended up going back in, and I fell in love with boxing.
Guys, thanks so much for watching the clips. If you would like, please subscribe. Also, if you'd like more clips like this, click here. Or if you'd like to enjoy this whole episode, click here.